Welcome. Today we have built a small project for your portfolio, a small Web3 project using Telegram bot API and Viem. Let's get started. So what the bot does is, if you start it, it has three public actions, which are read block number, get balance, and get transaction count. Read block number reads the latest block number from the blockchain, and the blockchain we are talking to is right now mainnet. So next we want to get balance. If you click on get balance, it requires you to enter ETH address. If you copy paste your ETH address and input, you're gonna see the balance of yours. Get transaction count, it's the same thing. It requires you to input ETH address. If you do it, it gives you back the transaction count. This is the entry file and launchbot gets invoked. As you can see here, we are setting up the conversation API of Telegram. We are initializing all the callback queries for our buttons. We are defining the start command and the reply for it, and here we create the buttons, the command buttons basically. An interesting fact here, we are creating these command buttons based on this object, this big object that is defined, that basically has these keys, like the keys are the actions, and we have this action object type that and this has to include key, a name. This name is the button name basically. If you go back to Telegram, this would be the button name, for example, for the first action, and the action itself. So when you click on it, what should happen? And for example, in case of read block number, we are basically reading the block number here and replying with current block number, blah blah blah. In case of a get balance action, you are entering a conversation here, which you can find here, get balance address convo. Then check this. This function gets invoked, which is it checks for address validity, and if the address is valid, or if it's not valid, it throws an error message, and if it's valid, it invokes onValid address function, where you can basically make the action you want to make if the address is valid. The reason I created this function is because this function is also reused for transaction count conversation, and that was the reason why I abstracted it basically. This is a principle of clean code, that you don't want to have code duplications in your code. You want to keep everything maintainable, clean, and also readable. Also, another concept that I follow, a principle, is called declarative programming, which entails basically that everything you are programming, it has to be descriptive. Here, for example, you don't have to understand what this function does. You don't have to go inside of this function in order to understand what it does. You already know, okay, this function launch bot, because it literally says launch bot. For example, here too, it's declarative. It says conversation setup. It sets up all the conversations. In it actions callback queries. Also, it does all this stuff. So this is a declarative programming approach that I really encourage other people also to do, because it's for other programmers, it's very easy to understand. Imagine if all these functions would be basically inlined with this code, it would be much harder to understand what is happening. So declarative approach is very interesting. That's it for this video. If you want to have the source code, please comment down below if you're interested, and I'm gonna share source code with you. And also for the future videos, let me know what I should do as next and what you're interested in terms of Web3 content. Thanks for watching, and see you.